Hello everyone, Oversolver here, and today we're going to be talking about one of the big things on 2x2, with the Ortega method. I know this is something a lot of you have been waiting for, as I realize the past two videos have been kind of like really basic stuff and something that not a lot of people can latch onto just because most of you know it. Here's something that I think more people can benefit from, and more people will be able to lower times with. So for those of you who don't know, the Ortega method is a method where you build a face on the bottom and a face on the top. Now the main difference with this, between this one and layer by layer, is you'll notice on the bottom here, it's not a layer. There's bad pieces here that aren't fully solved. And while on layer by layer, you'll get something like this, where all of these are solved. On Ortega, you don't have to do that. This means that building your layer or face becomes much easier, and you don't have to spend as much time on it. Now you can't. There are ways to stick with layer by layer and still get fast, but this way is going to be superior for most. At least until you start getting into more advanced alg sets, which I will talk about in a later episode. But for now, I'm going to just discuss this. This video won't be too long because the transition to the Ortega method is something I think a lot of people really don't know, but they should, because it's really only 3 new algorithms. So you know all of the OLLs already, assuming you've seen the previous video. And that included how to get the white face on top, which is one of the main parts to this method. I'll be doing a full overview of it in just a second. But it only leaves you with 3 new cases that are possible, which means that's if you can do these 3 algorithms, you can then do the entire Ortega method. Now, let's talk a little bit about exactly what the Ortega method is. So I'm just going to scramble this keep up. So let's say I start out with a scramble like this. I'll see this green. I'm going to go with green. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, we'll go with white. So what I'll do is I'll just make a face. And you can see that even though these pieces are wrong, this entire face is done. I don't have my yellows done yet, but all my white pieces are facing the correct way on one layer. Even though the layer is not correct, the face is, and that's all I care about. After I do the face, I'm going to do this top one up here and do OLL, so that way all my yellows are facing up. You should be familiar with that algorithm, as I talked about in my last video. And then finally, I will do PBL. Now what PBL is permutation of both of the layers at once. So I'm going to do all of this in one algorithm. And now you can see the cube is solved. This, with everything with this method, you can actually get sub-5 / sub-4 very easily. And I highly recommend you do so. Now for algs, I'm going to demonstrate them here. But once again, like in the OLL video, I'm going to link a link in the description, so that way you can go and check out the actual algorithms instead of just having to come back to this video every time. So let's jump right in. The 3 main ones, now I label these by bars, and the 3 main ones we're going to be looking at are no bars, which looks like this, 2 bars, which looks like this, and 1 bar, which looks like this. Now, the way to tell if you have a bar is it's just a block right here, and then like a 2 right here, and then this means that all of these are correct. Here, these can be different colors, I'll just do a little, like this. You can see that I have a block up here, and then a block down here, and they're still the same. Or they're still both blocks, but they're different colors. And so let's go through these algorithms. And I'm going to start out with this one because it's the easiest. So this is what happens when you get a diagonal. It can look like this as well, or like this. And you might recognize this because it's a very easy pattern. And all it is R2, F2, R2. And you can see that's it. Now if it's like this, you're going to have to do like a little AUF at the end, or adjustment of the upper face. But that's fine. There are a variety of ways these cases can come, but they'll all have this general idea of how many bars you have. Like you can see this has none adjacent. So there are no bars at all. Here there are no bars, and here there are no bars. Moving up to the next amount of bars, we have 1. So we can see we have 1 bar right here. We don't have any over here, and there's none on the bottom. Now, the way you hold this, that's up to you. I personally prefer to hold it in back, but there are different algorithms for different ways to hold it, and you'll eventually learn more of them later on. I'll talk about that in probably the next video, talking about more advanced Ortega methods, maybe the video after it, but for now, we're just worried about this one. Go like this. You can see it's a very easy algorithm, and that's with the bar and back. Next up is the most common case, which is 2 bars. And you can see I have a bar up here and a bar down here. And the way I personally hold it is I hold the 2 bars. You have to hold the 2 bars on top of one another, usually. And I hold them in back. Some people hold them in front. You'll see on Sire the King's page, which once again I will link, that you can choose which algorithm or which way you want to hold them. But now the way I'm about to do it is the way I learned it. This is not on the page, and I don't recommend you learn this specific algorithm. You can if you want, but I think the other ones are probably going to be better in the long run. So the way I do it is I go like this, U2 Y prime, or Y, and then I just do that again, and back. And then we have these two. These two you should be familiar with from earlier videos. This is a diagonal swap, and this is also known as Y-perm. There are many different ways you can do this. That's one way I do it. But you should be familiar with that already, especially this one. Yeah, like that. But it's up to you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the only algorithms that are going to be new for the Ortega method, and that's why I highly recommend people learn it, even if you're kind of a beginner. If you're wondering where you should be before you start learning this, I would say be under 10 seconds. Don't do this. If you're over 10 seconds, then you probably should be focusing more on OLLs, like this, and how you can build layers better. Because layer building is something you're going to need to get good at whether you like it or not. It's something that will appear later on as well. And let's see. Yeah, if you're under 10 seconds, what I just showed you, that can get you sub 5. Just those algorithms with a little bit of tips and tricks you can easily get sub 5 with that. With a couple tips and tricks, you should be able to get sub 4.5, and with a couple more advanced things, then you should be able to drop below 4. But that will be in our next video. For now, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you really find it useful, since I know a lot of beginners probably will. If you'd like to help me out, all you got to do is like and subscribe down below. That definitely kind of gives me motivation to make more videos. And yeah, I'll leave a link to my main, the Wuxia, down below as well as the algs. And I hope you tune in for the next vid, where I'll be talking about how to get sub 4.5 on 2x, or how to get consistently under 5 seconds at 2x2. I will see you then. Goodbye.